Welcome to episode 46 of America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction. My name is David Hunt and I am your host. Please set your DVRs to record. This show could save your child's life. Today's guest is Gail Kavanaugh McAuliffe of the Massachusetts Behavioral Health Helpline. Gail is a community relations rep for the Mass Behavioral Health Helpline. Gail covers parts of Middlesex and Essex counties. As a U.S. Army vet, Gail worked for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Veterans Services for 16 years before taking a peer support role in the VA in Bedford, Massachusetts. She is a certified peer support specialist and an older adult peer specialist and a recovery coach. I met Gail at Woburn Substance Community Meeting and knew with all MBHHL has to offer, she has a lot to share that can actually really help our viewers. Gail, welcome to my show.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Let's start by getting to know you. How long have you been with the helpline?
I started December 27th of 2022, and we took our first calls on January 3rd, 2023, so I've been with them the whole time.
So you're a founding member, basically.
Yeah,
You're there from the start.
I'm one of the original crew.
Okay. What other positions have you had in life other than the helpline?
I worked for the State Department of Veterans Services for 16 years. I worked at the VA for a number of years, and then I came into this role.
So you did a lot for our veterans in the past.
I have.
Thank you. Now, you've been described as a front door behavioral health needs. What exactly does that mean, a front door needs?
So ideally, we're supposed to be the new front door to services here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, meaning, well, there's no wrong door, but we're a new front door, meaning you can call us. We have mental health support and substance use support, but we also have those community supports that exist outside of mental health and substance use, food banks, diaper banks, peer support groups, grief support, things like that. So it's supposed to be an open door.
Now, is this a 9 to 5 bank position, or can I call you after work, or how do I reach you? What about in the middle of the night I'm having a crisis?
So you can't reach me in the middle of the night, but you can reach the helpline at 833-773-2445. It's a 24/7 text, chat, or phone helpline. My job is, 9 to 5, 8 to 4. So if you call me after hours, you'll call the helpline at 833-773-2445.
Now, Mass has such a diverse population. What if I don't speak English? Can somebody help me?
Yeah, so on the helpline, we do offer interpreter service in 200 languages. So anyone can call and get connected to an interpreter that speaks their language. Unfortunately, if you do need an interpreter, you have to call. That technology isn't available by text or chat.
Now, what services would you provide me if I'm having an immediate mental health crisis?
So if you're having a crisis, if you called into the helpline, ideally we would, do a risk assessment and try and figure out where you're at, what you're looking for, and then we're going to try and connect you with one of the community behavioral health centers, or CBHC. The one here in Woburn that we use is Advocates, but there are 31 of them across the Commonwealth. So real time, during normal business hours, we're going to try and make that warm transfer to the CBHC or another provider.
Now, who runs the helpline? Who's staffing it?
So the staffing of the helpline is master's level and bachelor's level clinicians. So they're all trained in crisis intervention, de-escalation, but we are funded through the Department of Mental Health.
Okay.
And so we are contracted to man the helpline.
Roughly how many people are at the helpline? If I call, am I going to get busy signals, get an answering machine?
Ideally, no. You're never going to get an answering machine or a busy signal. We generally pick up our calls within under a minute, under 30 seconds in most cases. So you're going to get a live person, 24/7. that can, you're not going to get put on hold, you're not going to have to wait long, you're going to get a real live individual.
Now, what if I'm having a substance issue? What can you provide me on the phone for that?
So over the phone, again, we're going to try and connect you with a substance use center or a detox facility or, inpatient care, outpatient care, whatever it is that the individual is actually looking for. It really just depends on the individual and the situation that they're in and what they're willing to do. We do offer virtual appointments, telehealth appointments. We have inpatient, outpatient, so it really could be just based on the individual's needs.
And different facilities have different rules for inpatient. Some are 24/7, some are a couple of months.
Yeah. So it really just depends on, what the individual is looking for. But the more information we can gather from the individual at the time of the call, the better we're going to be able to suit their needs.
Where would you refer me for an actual treatment? For anything. Say I call in for a substance.
Yeah.
Where are you likely able to refer me to? If I'm saying, okay, I'm using heroin, I want to get off of it.
Yep.
What do? I call you.
Yep.
First I'm thinking, you're the one that's going to help me. People don't know that you're a referral.
Right.
So if you say, well, you don't come to me for the treatment, but I can send you to XYZ. Who are some of these XYZs?
Oh, we have different treatment facilities all across the Commonwealth. So it really depends on the location.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
So whatever's local to you, but maybe you don't want to go someplace local. Maybe you want to get away from that and you want to go further out across to Western Mass or down towards the Cape. We have, treatment facilities from all over the Commonwealth, that handle substance use. So it just really, again, this is going to be an individualized assessment, and it's going to be based on what that person is looking for.
So it's catered to me, it's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, what you're asking for at that time of the call.
How many people actually call you? You said you were new for a couple of years, but I understand.
So we do have a public-facing dashboard with all of our statistics. So based on the most recent quarter, so up until September of 2025, we've had 27,469 calls for this year.
Just this year?
Just this year. So the first year, I think we had close to 40,000. Again, the same about the second year. So, we're on track. So we get many, many calls.
Let me expand this conversation a little bit. How do people, first of all, find out? I didn't know about you till I went to the meeting. So how do people know you even exist? Where would they even find this number other than my show and go into the community meeting, which they're not going to?
So generally there's 10 outreach specialists, well actually 9 at the moment, but there's 9 of us that go out into the communities. We attend health fairs, we attend community events, we are, always making connection with, community resources. We're passing out information all the time. We're connecting with the senior centers, the police departments, you name it. We're trying to make those connections.
You hear out the other Mass Helpline, which obviously I've referred to people for years. And that's all over TV, that's all over everywhere. Is it something that you're going to be getting like some PSAs from TV to get your name out there, or are you just using the local fairs?
Oh no, we do have some marketing strategies right now. I think the last marketing campaign, we had some billboards. We've had some ads through TikTok and different social media. We've had those little TVs at the gas station. Yeah. We've run ads there. So they are trying to do different marketing techniques. So, you never know where we're going to pop up. We've had like stand-up boards in the malls and places like that. So, we are trying to get the information out to the people that need it.
I'm only bringing it up because you're such an important service, and people need to know about this. And like I said, I feel bad having you here today And other than the meeting, I didn't know you exist. And I'm all over when it comes to the drug shows and stuff. I'm everywhere. And if I didn't find you, how's the public going to find you? I mean, I know 27,000 people found you.
Right.
And I'd like to see 127,000 people find you.
Well,
you're a great resource.
Thank you. So actually, I mean, if you go back and look at the archival statistics, 40,000, so we've probably hit 100,000 people, you know, but it's all word of mouth as well, right? So when we go out to community events, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm good, and I always tell them, you know somebody, you have a friend, you go to church, you go to book clubs or, you know, things in your community, so it's really word of mouth as well, you know, having the community help us pass this information on.
That's half the problem. The people that use don't think they have a problem, but I and everybody else know people, your neighbor, your friend, your babysitter, somebody out there uses that touched your life,
Right.
that you might not agree with, and you know they need the help, and it's like now you're getting the information you can pass to them.
Right, and you know, the helpline, you can call for a friend,
Yeah.
if that's something that you're, you know, willing to do. You can call for a friend or a family member. It doesn't necessarily always have to be the individual making the phone call. We do have providers that call us often looking for resources for their clients as well.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our calls are really routine calls, you know, people looking for resources, but then we do have, you know, some urgent calls and some imminent situations where we need to deploy mobile crisis. So we do have mobile crisis available for youth and adults. So we have deployed that. And so instead of using the police or 911 or taking up those resources, we use mobile crisis.
Say hypothetically, I'm dating somebody, and she's got a problem, who's going for no treatment, but she doesn't think she has a problem. And I somehow find out about you at a fair or whatever, I take a flyer. And I call up and said, hey, my girlfriend at the current moment is using XYZ. What would you be able to guide me? Would you send me information, literature, where to go for help for her?
I mean, we'd probably give you some resources that you could share with her. Ultimately, the individual has to be willing to take those steps. So for you to be calling for her, we would probably give you a number of resources that could be helpful for her. You know, even maybe some harm reduction things where she could be safe and, you know, maybe step down her drug use or her substance use. So it could be any number of things. It really, again, this is an individual situation.
Absolutely.
So the more information the caller gives us, the better we're going to be able to help them.
Now, what about for the parents that are viewing the show? Let's just say I have a parent, I got a 13-year-old, whatever, and that person, I said, you know, he, she, whatever, is acting awfully strange. It's not, her personality's changed, she's hanging around, she doesn't tell me where she's going, I think she's into drugs. What would your people be able to guide me, or would you be referring me to somebody that says, how to know if your kids are on drugs? Is there like immediate information you can give me?
I mean, we do have access to the Sudline and BSAS and 988 and all those other lines, but I mean, ideally, we're gonna try and see what the parent wants to do with the child. Do they want a therapist for the child? Do they want some kind of other resources? Do they want a peer support group for the child? You know, it really just, again, this is a very individualized service. So we're gonna try and get as much information from that parent and what they're seeking for the child. If they want therapy, if they want a group, a teen group, you know, some kind of activity to engage the child in. We may have, you know, things like that as well that are offered in the community. It just really depends on what the parent is looking for.
So basically, you'd be the first step. If they don't know who to call, they call you and you can set them up with whatever they might need.
Yeah, so it is like a first step, right? So we often have people that call us that don't even know what they're necessarily looking for, right?
Exactly.
But
They don't know. They know I think my child's on drugs. I don't know who to call. And somewhere they picked up a pamphlet with you on it.
right. So, you know, this is a first step. It could go into a treatment. It could go into, any kind of things that the parents are willing to, have the child engaged
That's
in.
great, because a lot of parents don't have a clue what to do. They see it, they want to sort of ignore the fact, oh, my kid's not on drugs, but I know he might be doing something. And now they know they have an option somewhere they can call to get actual factual information.
Right, and so we're here to also support the families too, right? Because if someone's engaged in a substance use, behavior, oftentimes the families are struggling too, right? Al-Anon, Alateen, all of those different things. But the families have some struggles that they have to overcome as well, so we're here to support the families as well.
Now, that's very good to know. I mean, the viewers need to know they have some place they can call that has the answers, and if they don't have all the answers, they can refer to someone that can actually help them out with it. Okay, now question, if I pick up the phone, do I pay you? Do you take insurance? Does this cost me any money?
Okay, so for that information, the call is always free, and any crisis intervention is always free. If you have Mass Health and you go to one of the community behavioral health centers, then all your services are covered. If you have private insurance and you go into sort of longer term treatment or therapy or groups, we will take your insurance information. We can sort of do an insurance match and get you to a place that maybe takes your insurance so that you're not, necessarily paying out of pocket.
But I can still call you free, and you're not going to charge me for the phone call.
Right.
So a lot of people figure they want to make a phone call. Oh my God, the first thing they want is my Mass Health number.
No. I mean, we do need some information, right? And like I said, all the services are covered by Mass Health.
Nice. Now, you brought up the fact that you do other things. It's like food banks, diaper services, and other support. How does that work? What is else that can you support?
Oh my gosh.
We got time to go into this, so you can go as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many nonprofits out there that do great work in the community, providing meals, providing transportation, providing clothing, providing food, providing services to elders, anything that you could think of outside of mental health and substance use, right, that someone may need. So once you peel off that mental health layer or that substance abuse layer, what is underneath, right? Like, we have the supports for almost anything that you could think of. Seriously, there are so many great nonprofits out there that are listed here on the helpline.
Okay, good.
So yeah, they're listed here on our resource directory. Our call takers have access to that information. So there are so many great nonprofits out there supporting different community aspects that I think, honestly, if you needed anything in your outside of mental health or substance use, you could find a support for that. We do list services for immigration and housing and all of those things. So I think definitely you could find something that would be supportive.
It's not a concern if they see your name, they might skip by you thinking it's just for behavioral health and not realizing it's everything underneath.
Well, I think that is, interesting question, because it does say behavioral health, and people don't realize that we also do have all that community information.
And you've got such a wealth of information underneath that layer. If I'm looking for help for, say, housing, I'm going to look for Massachusetts Housing Help. And there's behavioral health. Nope, I don't need behavioral health. I'm normal, which knows this word is normal, but I'm fine.
Yeah, so that is one of the things we try to, really let the public know about, is that we do have those other supports out there, when we're out talking to the community members. And attending groups like the group we met at, it's important for us to let folks know that we do have those other resources, and that it is much broader than than mental health and substance use.
Well, it's like the other one for obviously the competition, the Mass Helpline, which was for help, and then they knew it was for substance abuse. But now they do gambling. But nowhere in the name does it say anything to do with gambling. So if I have a gambling problem and it's the Mass Substance Use Helpline, like, well, I don't take drugs. I might be spending $1,000 a week on the ponies, but I don't have drugs involved. I can't afford drugs, but I'm losing money on the ponies. I probably won't call that number thinking, well, why don't I do drugs? How are they going to help me on the gambling machines?
Right. It can be confusing, all these different services. So that's sort of why we exist, right? Because we're supposed to funnel people to those resources. So we can funnel people to those other lines, to the gambling addiction services and the SUD line and all of those other lines. So we are a front door, right? So you can call us and we can connect you to the other services.
I run a business, which I'm not going to take a cheap plug out of this, but I do run a business. And unfortunately, the way I started out, I've expanded into so much. The name has nothing to do with basically what I do. 90% of my business no longer has to do with my name. So if you're looking for XYZ, it's not in my name, but it's there. I'm like, I can't change the name. It's been there for 20-something years.
That is hard, right? And I think that's, again, a branding situation. And we run into that, right?
Keywords on Google. There's a space for keywords, which I list other things that I do, and hopefully if you put in, I want ABC, it'll pop up on my website because I put it as a keyword. But if you look up my company name, it's like, oh, well, he doesn't do that. He probably doesn't do that either.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you went to our website, I think it's very comprehensive, and I think it will tell you exactly what's available for you if you call us. And again, there's no wrong door when someone's seeking help for mental health or substance use, right? So we can connect to 988, they can connect to us, we can connect to the SUD line, they can connect to us. So it's really, a collaboration between all of these different entities.
I personally think it's great that you all work together and it's not competition.
Yeah, we're not trying.
You've got to work together.
Yeah, there's plenty of work for all of us. Yeah. So I think, the collaboration is really great.
So let's see, what else? You mentioned peer support groups at one time when we were talking.
Yes.
What is a peer support group for the people that don't know, and how do you provide it?
So again, peer support groups could be like Learn to Cope, things like that are not necessarily run by professionals, but run by community members. Some of them are trained peer support specialists. I'm a trained peer support specialist, but again, all of these things they fall under the guise of community supports, right? So they don't necessarily fall under mental health or substance use, but they will fall under, community supports. And it could be even as simple as AA, NA, any of those groups where like-minded people come together, right? People that are having the same issues, and they come together in a setting to support each other.
Now, how do you support the healthcare providers?
The healthcare providers, we do reach out to them. Many of them know who we are.
Okay.
And many of them have access to the helpline as well. We have primary care providers listed. So, we are here to support anybody in the health field that needs this for their patients.
And now you've given us another tool we can use to get the support, so thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. This is a pleasure for me.
Now, when somebody calls you with an addiction problem, what are some of the places you would actually refer to? You don't have to give names.
We do have detox
If you want to give names, you can, but if you're not allowed to.
No, I don't want to sound like I'm biased.
Yeah, that's why I don't want you to pick one over the other.
So it's going to be a local
Okay.
center to the person. It's going to be something that fits what they're asking for, and it's going to be something that they're comfortable with. We do have inpatient, we have outpatient, we have in-home. So again, this is, like I said, really, really going to be individualized to what the person's offering. We offer virtual appointments, telehealth appointments, all of those things. So, if the person has transportation, or maybe they don't, or they have problems like that, we can maybe get them transportation, but if they'd rather do it virtually, we can do that. There are many centers out there right now. They're kind of popping up all over the place, right? So as they pop up and we get to know them, we have them add themselves to the resource directory, so that we're trying to always update the resource directory with the newest people that we meet out in the community.
Now, you took 27,000 calls. What are some of the reasons people call you with out of the 27,000? And like, what are the majority of your calls, and what are some of the smaller calls?
I mean, so, we have people, we have a lot of providers that call us looking for resources. We also have, I think if you look at the dashboard, mental health is up there. So we have a lot of folks looking for mental health treatment. But it could be anything, really. It could be anything in the community. It could be young people. It could be older people. It really just depends. But I think mental health is up there. I think people are struggling with that. And we do get calls as well for substance use. So that's primarily what our bread and butter is, right? Mental health and substance use. But like I said, we get many, many providers that call us looking for resources for their clients in the community. It could be any number of things.
Now, to go off subject for a quick second, for our viewers, this show is being taped on October 30th, 2025. As we all know, in a couple of days, the SNAP program might be discontinued. I know people that are already panicking. Right now, they don't know where they're going to get food. Do you anticipate a deluge of phone calls to you looking for help? Where do I go for food? I didn't get my food stamps. My kids can't eat. What do I do? Do you expect to get inundated in the next 48 hours?
Maybe not the next 48 hours, but we do. I just got an email yesterday about it, sort of reaching out to the local food banks, making sure we have any food programs listed that we know about. So I think that is a priority for us at the moment. Again, so one of the great things is me as a community relations representative. When I go out in the community and I get flyers and information from different places and different groups, like the group we met at, I can bring that back and I can send that directly through Teams to our call takers. So if I hear that there's a food distribution on, next Wednesday at the United Methodist Church in, Salisbury or something like that, I can take that information and send it directly to our call takers. So they are getting that information as we're getting it. That is one of the things where, we're expecting people to be concerned about it. We do have some of those resources currently listed, food banks and things like that. And as we find out what community members are doing, what other programs are providing, we can send that information right to our call takers, and they're also aware of what's going on. So I think that we probably will get calls like that because it is coming into a holiday season. So I think they are gathering that information as we speak.
I mean, does anybody really think that this is helping the community by shutting off food? The mental health, the stress, I know people personally that have called me for stuff, just talking, that I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids. I need those food stamps every week. I work. I'm not lazy. I'm not sitting home collecting welfare for no reason. I'm out working 40 plus hours. But between my rent, my heat, electricity, I don't have money for the food. I rely on that. They are stressing out, asking me what to do. And all I can do is refer them to a couple of churches and a couple of programs in Salvation Army and saying, you got to look up in your area where you live. And they are freaking out on the phone. Well, what do I do? How do I do this? I can't work overtime because now I don't have a babysitter for the kids. And it's a circle. And they are freaking out. And I have a couple of friends that work for the feds up at the parks, like Constitution Park and places like that. And they're not getting a paycheck, so it's closed, but they're not getting a paycheck. It's like, we're not rich as park rangers. We don't have money. We go week to week like half the community does. I don't know how many people have money in the bank anymore. And they're saying to me, where do I get the money to pay for my mortgage, my rent? My landlord needs to be paid. I've got to buy food, and I'm not getting a paycheck. We've been for 30 days, I haven't seen a paycheck. So don't you think, A, that's not helping the community, what's going on, but B, can you guys handle the influx of people that should be calling you, like freaking out? I mean, they're talking to friends. They shouldn't be talking to me. I'm not a professional. I refer them to lines like yourself and say, these are the people you need to talk to that can find you the help you need. what if they can't find me? Now what do I do? I'm like, call them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we probably will see an influx. I know many people are going to be struggling, so I'm sure that they're ready for this. We've kind of been aware of the situation. We're not, living in a vacuum. So I think that, I think our call takers are trained, they're educated individuals, and I think that they'll be able to give folks the information they need. I mean, and, as far as, the larger governmental picture, I really can't speak to that. It's really beyond my scope. But I think that, we're here to support those individuals as they go through this stressful time. And it can be, just even in the holidays, right? We know that without all of this, it's stressful. So this is more added stress, and we know that. So we're gonna, do as much as we can to be a support to individuals that call in.
But now they have a line that they can call and get professional information of where to go and referrals.
Yes.
Yes, viewers and my friends, that means not calling me in the middle of the night. I don't know what to do. Take the phone number down that's sitting here. Don't call me. Call these guys. They will let you know where to go, what's out there. Professional help, not David.
These are professionals. They're trained, and they can find the resources that individuals need.
And that's what they need. Someone other than me telling them to go call around, Google up food banks. You've got people that have those numbers and information.
Right. And if somebody calls in the middle of the night when businesses are closed, right, because we know sometimes when you're sitting home and things are running through your head, right, you pick up the phone and make the call. So we do have peer support staff that will follow up with those individuals that call during the night when we can't make that warm transfer. So we do have peer staff, that reach out to individuals that call late at night, and they'll call them the next day and connect with them to make sure that they have the resources. So
that's great. There's professionals standing by.
Yeah, even if you call in the middle of the night, we can't provide that warm transfer, which is what we would do during normal business hours. But when it's not normal business hours, we have peer support staff that will follow up with them.
Now, let's talk about your website a second. What's your website list from Help for Other Providers, roughly? You've come up with a couple of them. You've come up with diapers. You've come up with housing. Is there anything you may have left out on the question that you're thinking about now?
Oh,
Pretty
gosh.
much covered.
I don't know. We have grief support. We have support for parents that have children with autism or ADHD or things like that. Groups and support programs for that. On people with disabilities, we have support for that. So I think there's just a multitude of many different supports out there that, could be valuable to different individuals.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to say to get people to know?
I just think that it's important for people to know that we're available 24/7, 365 days a year. You're going to get a live individual. You're not going to get put on hold. We do have interpreter services. We do offer mobile crisis for youth and adults. So I really think that, this could be a valuable resource just to have in your home. You never know when things are going to pop up and when you may need support from a professional.
So viewers, please take this number down, put it in your contact list, put it somewhere you can find it, put it in the refrigerator. You never know when you're going to need their services. This is a great resource that can link you to almost any problem you have. Again, it's staffed by professionals. It's nice to call your friends for help and your coworkers and your peers, but the people you need to be talking to are the professionals. Again, not David.
Not David.
But I'm just going to refer you to them. So, before we leave, I have a little something for you for appearing today.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry, you don't have to zoom in on it. It's going to show up on the screen.
Oh, thank you. That's
Thank
lovely.
you.
I appreciate that so much.
I appreciate what you do for everybody.
Thank you.
I mean, your service, you're saving lives, even for people that aren't that drastic. People, a simple thing, I don't know where to get diapers for my kid. I need some food, where you can help me. That makes a big difference. You're changing lives. And I'm going to say it straight out. I don't care who likes the way I'm putting it or not. These people that come on my show do not realize, they don't hear it enough. To them, it's a job. Yes, they have some passion, but it's still they're going to work. People don't tell them enough how much they're appreciated. Every guest I've had, somehow, some way, has changed a life for the better. People on the Sudline have stopped people from overdosing. I got a phone call from a guest, I can't go into details, about 2 weeks ago. That person was trying to find help for 2 years and couldn't get help and find something they were comfortable with. And they contacted one of my guests. They made the hookup, and now they're working together because they liked what they heard on the show and said, this person's someone I want to get to know. And that makes me feel what I do is worth it also. I don't get paid for this. I don't have a business that has anything to do with this industry. But I want to see people as an EMT. I don't like going and seeing people having a drug problem or overdosing. There's nothing worse than seeing an overdose saying that person did this, they didn't have to if they only had help. And we're out there to save them. And I thought if I can bring these resources to the public and to the community and let you know what's out there. No one can force you to get treatment for anything. That's up to you. If you like the drug you're using and you're never going to stop it, there's nothing I or anybody's going to say that's going to take you off that drug. But if you're struggling with it, say, I'm trying to get off of it. I only take it twice a week. I want to used to take it 5. I just can't kick it for those last 2 days. The people I bring you can help you. You've got the resources. But the people that are sitting here do not realize the lives they've touched. Something as simple as you hooking up with a food bank so the kids can eat. You've changed that person's life. Like I said, in 2 days, people are going to be struggling for food. They don't know who to turn to. You've now given them an option where you can give them information in their community where they can turn for food, or housing assistance, or fuel assistance. I saw your website. It's quite extensive. Let's leave it at that.
Well, thank you for looking at it. Thank you for having me. I really know that people are struggling. And so I think that, even during this situation with SNAP, but all through the holidays, we know people are, lonely, they're missing family, they're struggling financially. We're here to support those things.
And that's great. I couldn't ask for anything better. Someplace professionally that can give them the help that they need.
Thank you.
I would like to thank our guest, Gail Kavanaugh McAuliffe, for appearing today. As always, thank you for watching. Please share this program with your social media friends. If you or someone you know is suffering from a substance abuse disorder, contact the Mass Substance Use Helpline, and that's 1-800-327-5050. If you are thinking about suicide, you can speak to a specialist at the new number 988. Again, that's not 911, that's 988. If you are having a mental illness issue, you can contact the Mass Behavioral Health Helpline, and that's at 833-773-2445. You can also contact NAMI Central Middlesex at 781-982-3318. The show can be seen on a rotating basis on Woburn Public Media stations and on demand at their website and on YouTube. As always, thank you to the big staff of Woburn Public Media Center for making this show possible. Please enjoy our closing theme, Rise Above the Noise by Fireheart, through the credits. So watch all the way, people, for important contact information for America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction. My name is David Hunt. Thank you for watching. And again, all the way through the credits, there are important numbers for past guests you may want to get in touch with.
Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. The whispers that I hear behind my back are those who never lost a child, a friend, so they lack a sense of loss, a peace that's gone with no return. Above the noise is how we cope, above the noise is how we learn. The most important things in life I found comes deep within the heart, the purest sound of those who won the fight. Now they found a life is true, a life so rich above the ground. We are people who care. Listen to the sound. Rise from the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. We are people who care. Listen to the sound. Rise from the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. The sound not heard